Yeah,
A long day, huh?
Monday, June 24th, 2019. So with that, I'd ask everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. So we'll go right to agenda item number 2, as we have no proclamations. So approval of the minutes of the meeting of June 10th, 2019.
Supervisor Baker, did we want to do public comments?
Oh,
the front end?
excuse me. And some of this is new on our agenda, so public comments. At this time, anyone may address the board on matters which are on the agenda. Please go to the podium, state your name and home address. That's if something is on the agenda and you want to make a comment beforehand, you can do that ahead of time. So are there any public comments for agenda items? Hearing none, we'll move to approval of the minutes of the meeting of June 10th, 2019.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the minutes as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried, 3-0. We have consent items, including, well, I'll just read them. Item A, IDNR Manure Management Plan Update, Jason Wolf, that had been previously tabled. Item B, cigarette permit applications, Highway 20 Truck and Auto Plaza, Harvey's Airline Inn, and Mid-Mart. And C, IDNR Manure Management Plan Update, Steve Hager. And I believe the appropriate motion for A and C would be to receive and file.
I will make a motion to receive and file the IDNR manure management plans and to approve the cigarette permit application.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried. Procurement procedures, we have receipt of proposals, food service, at the Law Enforcement Center. So Sheriff Kennedy, are you gonna come up and join us? Are these the proposals? Okay,
Is there a food service proposal?
Yeah.
Maybe there's samples.
could be. Never thought of that.
Is there like samples in each one of these? Is that what's going on?
He must have heard you.
Yeah,
Oh, you said that?
I said I hope there's samples.
That's where I got the idea, subliminal.
Sheriff Kennedy, would there be time to talk to you sometime about using any locally sourced foods? Before you make your final decision? I'd like to just visit with you about anything that we could use for local sources. Before you sign a firm and final contract, maybe there's some wiggle room. I just would like to have a chance to visit with you.
Just ahead of time, do we know how many bids we've received? Okay, thank you. What's this for?
It's gonna be on our agenda for July 8th.
We,
It's already come to me, so.
we
I'm
can just
having
receive
a
and
look.
file them and you can come back and
Wanna look at it.
with your assessment. If you need to organize them, if they're a little more complex,
Like that everything
related to
is
meal
close.
costs and stuff. but
Okay.
I'm comfortable with that. I think we would read them into the file, who was received.
Here, Joe. Need this?
The last one. Nope, it's, Minecraft. That was me. Four? Is that the four? When do you think would be an acceptable time to have those reviewed and back at the board? At the next meeting? Yeah, I'll make a motion to receive and file and have the sheriff review the bids along with administration and come back with a recommendation.
Second.
Okay. I just want, in comment, it's not as simple, these aren't as simple as reading what their price is, or?
Price per,
Price per meal, depending on
So,
how many meals they're doing.
so will, part of what you bring back with your recommendation, summarize the cost of each bid? Okay, so we're not,
Cost is
okay,
of each plan versus the others, so, yeah.
okay,
yeah, I appreciate it. A spreadsheet, just kind of going over the four bidders and their various costs.
Yep,
okay,
so, okay.
that's my question, thank you. All right, motion was to receive and file and refer to Sheriff Kennedy for his compilation and recommendation.
Sure.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. I believe it was seconded.
Yes.
Yeah, Ann did. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Pass 3-0. All right, receipt of proposals and recommendations of sheriff regarding purchase of 100 body-worn cameras with software and equipment for the sheriff's department.
So last Thursday, we received and opened our bids for our body-worn cameras. We received 3 bids. We received one from Safe Fleet Mobile Vision. That bid was for the amount of $120,650. And that is, they are a in-house server, so there's no cloud storage with that. We currently have some of their products. They're the ones we use inside our patrol vehicles. So we already have the servers and everything else for saving the camera footage. So the The other two bids we received, the first was from a company called Digital Ally. The initial amount on that was $157,906. With their cloud storage and replacement cycle, the 5-year total for that project would have been $421,650. The third bid, was from a company called Utility Associates. The initial project cost on that was $173,000 with a 5-year total with cloud storage and replacement cycle to the amount of $457,000. So we have selected Safe Fleet Mobile Vision to be our vendor. It did come back a little bit more than what our initial cost was, but we do have enough additional funding to compensate the county for the additional $6,000 cost over the original $114,000 estimate.
What was the federal funding that we received for this?
$57,000.
$57,000?
$242.
Okay, thank you.
The initial estimate was $114,484. The DOJ gave us 50% of that, but we're not concerned with it. We've got sufficient additional funding to cover the additional $6,000 on that. So.
Okay. What's your
I'll make a
pleasure?
motion to approve the recommendation from the sheriff regarding the purchase of 100 body-worn cameras.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. Okay, thanks Sheriff Kennedy. Next item on the agenda is item 5, public hearings. So under 5A, proof of publication for the public hearings was included in the packet on the Dropbox that it was published in the Cascade Pioneer, the Dyersville Commercial, and the Telegraph Herald.
Is it a motion then to approve the proof of
Yes.
publication?
And I will second that motion.
Motion was made and seconded to approve the proof of publication for the public hearing. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried, and I'm aye, 3-0. B, item 5B, public hearing, amendment to zoning ordinance. That is, number 1 is ZC number 05-15-19, Jerome J. Steffen Sr. Trust and Jerome J. Steffen Jr., A1 agricultural to A2 agricultural residential. Okay, Tammy, you
Okay.
can,
The applicants are requesting rezone from A1 agricultural to A2 agricultural residential, 3 acres more or less, to be allowed to separate the existing home and farm buildings to sell to the son, Jerome Steffen Jr., so that he may continue to assist in the farming operation. The property is located 1.7 miles southeast of the city of Piasta along New Mallory Road and is legally described as the southeast of the Northwest, Section 26, T88 North, R1E, Vernon Township, Dubuque County, Iowa. The property is owned by Jerome J. Steffen Sr. Trust. Zoning in the area includes A1 agriculture to the north, the south, the east, and the west. R1 rural residential to the north. The R1 rural residential to the north on zoning case number 822 of 94 was to rezone 3 acres for the purpose of bringing an existing home into conformity after being separated from the original farm. There are no previous rezoning cases attached to this property, and there are no special use prints attached to this property. 2 rezoning notification letters were sent to the property owners, and the city of Piasta was notified. Comprehensive Plan, Chapter 9, Agriculture and Natural Resources, page 134, Objective 3.1, and Chapter 8, Housing, page 122, Objective 12.7 may apply to this case. So what they're doing is they're taking the house and the property around here and staying out of the ag land. And Jerome and his wife will be moving into the property. They'll be purchasing it. And the rest of it will stay with the family estate.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Okay, there's a motion made and seconded to open the public hearing. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The public hearing is open. Is there anyone to speak in regard to the public hearing on this matter? Seeing none,
I will make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
motion made and seconded to close the public hearing. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Looks like, to me, it looks like a pretty straightforward A2. And I think it's probably what the intended purpose of the A2 zoning was for.
Looks like at
Any
least
other-
Does meet that standard.
Any other comments or, okay. I will make a motion to approve the rezoning request.
second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the rezoning request. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I'll make a motion to suspend the requirement this amendment be considered and voted on for passage at 2 prior meetings.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to suspend the reading. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I'll
Carried.
make a motion that this amendment be adopted and the zoning administrator be directed to enter the appropriate changes on the official zoning map and that the auditor be directed to arrange for the publication of the amendment and portion of the official zoning map as amended in the official county newspapers as required by law.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried 3-0. You're welcome. See ya. All right, next up on the agenda under, is a notice of public hearing for the FY '20 budget amendment number 1. And this is item 5C on the agenda. And it is contained in the packet.
Being loaded up. 1 second while this. Share.
There's the notice of public hearing, correct?
This,
Okay.
yes, this is just the notice, but I thought I'd just give a brief
7, 8.
explanation about what we're doing.
Wonderful.
I can get this to load. It's in your packet, and there are only 2 items in this amendment to allow us to continue construction on 2 large projects that we're currently working on. So the total amendment is for $10,680,516 in capital projects. So that's made up of $6 million. We're gonna carry forward unspent funds in FY '19 to '20 to continue work on the 911 system. And then $4,680,516 of West Campus construction. So we need funds appropriated as construction is in progress on both of those items. So I apologize, this is not. There we go.
There it is.
Here it is. So they appear in this one line item of capital projects, bumping total capital projects for the year to $21,684,000. Bigger. So this is a pretty simple one with only 2 items in it, but I thought I would pull this up and show it in case anybody had any questions. But we will have a public hearing. This is the notice that is being published. You're gonna give authorization to publish this notice, and we'll have a public hearing on this on the July 8th meeting.
Right, Monday, July 8th at 9 a.m. Okay,
Make a motion to approve the notice of public hearing.
And I will second that.
okay, motion made and seconded to approve the notice of public hearing for Monday, July 8th, 2019 at 9 a.m. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, under 5D, notice of public hearing, amendment to zoning ordinance. We have, excuse me, number one is, are these all for the public hearing for the next?
They're just for your official notice, yeah.
Yes, right, okay.
Just
So
notice
I
on
just,
July 8th.
they're all for July 8th, that's what my question
Those two,
was.
yeah.
All right, I'll read those into the record. D1 is ZC number 06-17-19, William and Rosemary Nolan. A1 Agriculture to S2, is that supposed to be A2?
A2,
It's a typo on the agenda.
might be a typo.
A2 Agricultural Residential. And then D2 is ZC number 6-18-19, KSSB Trust, and MJ Decker, A1 Agricultural to M1 Industrial. So a motion to approve the notice of public hearing would be in order.
So moved.
I will second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the notice of public hearing for Monday, July 8th, 2019 at 9 a.m. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. Okay, next we're on to agenda item number 6, approval of plats. 6A, resolution, final plat, Call Farm subdivision, section 20, Vernon Township. Tammy Henry, our interim zoning administrator, will take over.
Okay. This property is owned by Steve and Donna Call, and it's located 1.07 miles south of the city of Piasta along Pilot Grove Road with a total of 90.82 acres surveyed. The property is owned A1 Agricultural. The purpose of the plat is to separate the home and farm buildings from the crop ground. Steve and Donna will continue to use the home and the farm buildings for cattle. The survey creates 2 lots. Lot 1 is a total of 79.66 acres surveyed, and it will remain in agricultural use. Lot 2 is a total 11.16 acres surveyed with the home and farm buildings and will remain in current ownership and use. Lot 1 will use an existing field entrance off of Pilot Grove Road, and Lot 2 will use an existing residential entrance off of Pilot Grove Road. There were no additions or corrections required for this plat. The mortgage holders' acknowledgements are signed and attached, and all signatures are current. This plat's been reviewed by myself as plats officer and has all the required signatures. I respectfully recommend approval. So what's happening here is they are taking, give it an aerial here. See this little area here, which is the 11 acres? When I show you the aerial, that is really coming in here. And what they're doing is they're separating that, and they do have a buyer for the remainder of the property, and that buyer, they will be renting it back from the buyer. And we have the Schedule F and all the appropriate things we need to approve the plat.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the final plat.
Second.
motion made and seconded to approve the final plat. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried. The next up would be 6B, resolution, final plat, Smith Acres, sections 27 and 34, Jefferson Township. Tammy?
Did you want him to sign the plats? I think we got some. Supervisor Baker?
It won't do any good tonight. They have to come back tomorrow anyway, because they,
Okay. I'll make sure I sign them tonight so they're ready for you tomorrow. Okay?
Thanks.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
yep, that's correct. Either way. You bet. Okay.
We're approaching
So-
the bench.
You ready back for the Smith one then? Okay. The property is owned by Robert and Annette Smith and is located 1 mile east of the city of Burkittsville along 52 North with a total of 64.92 acres surveyed. The property is owned A1 Agricultural, C1 Conservancy, and R2 Single Family Residential. The purpose of this plat is to take 5 lots and create 2 lots for the lots for sale purposes. The survey creates 2 lots. Lot 1 is a total of 57.79 acres surveyed, and it will be sold to the adjacent landowner and will continue in agricultural use. Lot 2 is a total of 7.13 acres with a cabin, and it will remain in current ownership and use. Lot 1 will use an existing access off of Highway 52 North, and Lot 2 will use an existing residential access off of Highway 52 North. There were no additions or corrections required for this plat. There were no liens or mortgages on this property, and all signatures are current. This plat has been reviewed by myself as a plats officer, and has all the required signatures. I respectfully recommend approval. So what's happening here is we are taking this piece and attaching it over here. This is being sold to the neighbors, and they're gonna continue it in farming use. And the reason that we have to separate some of this is because this is the winery off of 52, and the Smiths need to maintain and keep this little portion because that is where some of the vines are at. So they've put it in, and there was a rezoning of their property to allow for the winery. I don't have the date, but that's why that portion is zoned A1. It normally, in the past, it was zoned R2.
Make a motion to approve the plat of Smith Acres.
I will second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the final plat. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. All right,
So you can come down tomorrow, get that recorded.
next up, resolution, final plat, Stone Quarry number, and it's, I don't know if this is correct, @ Section 8, Mo Salem Township.
Okay.
That's gonna be a typo, I think.
Okay, the property's
it-
owned,
I'm guessing
Can
that's
you
supposed to
give
be
the,
2.
can you give us the numbers?
oh, sure, sure.
It
I'm
might be a
sorry.
typo one.
Section 2,
Number 2.
number 2.
At sign.
Stone Quarry number 2, Section 8, Mo Salem Township. All right,
Okay. The property is owned by Raymond and Phyllis Decker, and it's located 1.06 miles east of the city of Dubuque along Old Massey Road, with a total of 118.06 acres surveyed. The property is zoned A1 agricultural. The purpose of this plat is to separate the home and the farm buildings with 106.99 acres for estate and sale purposes. The survey creates 2 lots. Lot 1 has a total of 11.07 acres surveyed with farm buildings, and it will be sold to a son to remain in agricultural use. Lot 2 is a total of 106.99 acres surveyed with a home and farm buildings, and it will be sold for estate purposes and remain in agricultural use. Lot 1 will use an existing residential access off of Old Massey Road. Lot 2 will use an existing field entrance off of Old Massey Road. There were no additions or corrections required for this plat. There are no liens or mortgages on this property, and all signatures are current. This plat was reviewed by myself as plats officer, and has all the required signatures. I respectfully recommend approval. So what's happening here is, this lot here is the piece that the son is gonna purchase, and he has in that area over 200 other acres of farm ground. He just wanted to be able to someday maybe come in there and potentially build a home someday. And the rest of this is going to be up for sale.
A motion to approve the final plat of Stone Quarry number 2.
And I will second that.
okay. Motion made and seconded to approve the final plat of Stone Quarry number 2, Section 8, Mo Salem Township. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried 3-0. Next, we move into action items. Item number 7 on your agenda. And on these, the board may approve, deny, or table any action item. 7A is a resolution, appointment of deputies, assistants, and clerks. So we would go to our HR Director, Dawn Sherman.
I have reviewed these and would recommend approval for all of them.
Looks like they're all Sunnycrest positions. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the resolution for appointment of deputies, assistants, and clerks. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. Item 7B, resolution, approve the certification of cost allocation plan for FY18. And Denise, do you have input into this?
This is the annual cost allocation plan that Cost Advisory Services prepares for us. It allows particularly for DHS to apply for reimbursement for the costs that, or the payments that we make on their behalf.
Okay. Question? Go ahead.
Are these, is this cost allocation plan, are department heads given a chance to see this? I recall that Sunnycrest had some issues with previous cost allocations in terms of the way that technology costs are allocated. I just recall that there were some questions about how that was done and whether we were gonna make changes or it.
Yeah, I'll comment on that further. When I reviewed it as well and went through the cost allocation plan, that stuck out at me again. And so it's almost a third of the IT costs are allocated to Sunnycrest. And so I think Nathan's talked a little bit about why that is, and the cost allocation company using, access points and electronic components as their measurement. But it's probably a little high. Now it's a pass-through. It's going through general basic to general basic, or in this case, general supplement, possibly to general basic. So it's not like it's actually real revenue or real expense.
They were just concerned, I know in the past, that they felt artificial numbers that then inflated the costs that they had. I saw other things that just were interesting. A lot of auditors' allocations, fees assigned to Sunnycrest as well that
Payroll, another.
I suppose it's payroll, but I don't know if there's anybody looking at this other than me, because I don't really understand it, but.
Like IT expenses, they're using number of computers. So Sunnycrest having a heavy use of computers, they're gonna get allocated more cost. IT is, supporting software, licenses and things like that they're using. So at this point, I don't feel, although it is high, they are a heavy user. They're also heavy users of payroll services that the auditor provides, having the most employee base in the county.
So you've looked through this, and then have you discussed it particularly with Sunnycrest administration?
No, I have not at this time.
Might be the next step is just to talk to them. So, there's a couple things is, here's how we came up with the number, but then here's what the number means. And so it's an allocation. So it's not an actual hard cost. Granted, if it was zero, then our supplement could be less to them, but related to our budgeting at the county and total expenditures wouldn't change at all.
Maybe you could just reach out and have that conversation, so they're aware that we've had a discussion about that, and I think we're clear about what it means for the budget, but.
And I can give a little background on the concern, which I haven't heard as much lately, but the original discussion or concern was that we don't have any IT people located on site, and that's not what it's based on. So they're there if needed. Everything can be monitored from here, and it's based on usage and the number of, I don't want to know if I'm using the right term, the number of terminals.
I think that was a factor at one point. That's not exactly how they're measuring it now. There's no exact perfect way to measure, how much service they're using. So they base it on some kind of factor. In this case, the computers being supported. And it might be printers as well. Computers and printers might be the.
All right. We do have
I'm comfortable with it. I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for the cost allocation plan.
Second.
okay, motion Made and seconded to approve the cost allocation plan for FY18. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. All right, 7C, resolution terminating paying agent and registrar and transfer agent agreements with Bankers Trust and approving new paying agent and registrar agreement with BOKF.
Hopefully you remember a couple of months ago, Stella and I came to you. We had received notification from Bankers Trust, who are currently the trustees. When we make our bond payments, they would distribute to the bond holders. They are selling their bond portfolio off to another company. I don't know that I remember which bank it is. We contacted D.A. Davidson in Des Moines, our financial advisors, for some advice as to what we should do. And they apprised us that clients from their Omaha office have been using BOKF, which is actually located in Lincoln, Nebraska. And they have seen cheaper costs than even Bankers Trust had been charging us, and the proposed costs for the new company that was taking over from Bankers Trust was going to be even higher than Bankers Trust. These fees are lower. So we at that time decided, I think in your direction, to go with BOKF. I had Dorsey and Whitney draw up the accompanying documents here, which are the legal documents to notify Bankers Trust that we are terminating them as our paying agent and setting things up with BOKF.
Okay. Thank you for the explanation.
Motion to approve the resolution terminating paying agent and approving new paying agent.
And I will second that.
Okay. Motion made and seconded to approve the resolution. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. All right. 7D, the resolution approving the addendum to the agreement between Dubuque County Board of Health / Dubuque County Board of Supervisors and the Dubuque Visiting Nurse Association for FY20 services. Is there anyone here to speak on this?
I don't think so, but
I had some questions.
As did I.
I was hoping someone would be here, but
Denise, do you know the timing of these types of documents? Do they need to be completed before the beginning of the fiscal year? Or are you unaware?
and maybe Stella, I don't know if you have this information. One of my questions is the proposal for FY20 is $290,300.
Okay.
Do we know how much it was last year?
I can find out.
And I have more questions.
I have some.
What specific services are being provided?
I'll make a motion to table this,
Second.
Okay,
table the resolution.
there's a motion made and seconded to table the resolution regarding the Visiting Nurse Association for the FY20 services. In discussion, I have another question or comment, I guess question. Have we looked at whether or not the county could self-perform these functions at a lower cost? I don't know the answer to that.
We can get Patrice Lambert, our
Yeah.
director, here at the next
Right.
meeting.
I would
Dawn, if you wanna
imagine that they'll
request her
be here
presence.
next time.
Well, I think it's important to note that it is signed by, it's executed by the chairperson of our Board of Health. And, you know, they do operate, again, somewhat independent of us, of the Board of Supervisors. But the questions about it, it's all about budgeting for financial deficit. And that was a concern that I've had ongoing about what services are they performing, what quantity, what are the outcomes? I don't, you know, this date says beginning July 1st, 2019. But I do think that there's some I'd rather have some better understanding about the nature of this agreement, because it's deficit budgeting, I think. We compensate them for the deficit of Dubuque County services performed.
I can tell you that some of the services that are provided are like in-home care, senior care, et cetera. I know counties who provide this service themselves have a huge group of nurses who do that, and we have contracted with the VNA to provide those services. There may be other services too. I know that's just, I mean, that is one of them.
I noticed that Cedar Rapids, Lynn County has 55 people in their health department performing these services in-house, and with the addition of our new full-time person yet to be identified, we're gonna be at 3.5 people. But all these questions are still, it's the time to ask them, or we've missed the opportunity, and then we'll have to get ready this fall before we look at that January, budget for the Board of Health for next year.
I just want to know that if they looked at whether doing it with the VNA is more cost-effective than doing it ourselves. I think that's a fair question. We can save money. We've had other things that were outsourced that we're saving money on. Food service at Sunnycrest Manor, for being one example. Our county engineering, self-performing the engineering instead of outsourcing most of the engineering, saving us, when Anthony came in, I believe $800,000 to $1 million a year. So it's worth looking at, but I don't think we're gonna get the answer tonight. So I think, moving on, I think the motion and second, the table is in order, and I guess, all in favor of that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. Okay, resolution approving the county seal for election purposes.
Motion to
This is
approve.
7E. I want to make sure I articulate that for folks that might be watching. 7E on the agenda item is a resolution approving the county seal for election purposes.
The motion to approve the county seal as presented, and with thanks to our Director of IT for the design, to be used on election ballots.
I will second that.
Motion made and seconded to approve the resolution approving the county seal for election purposes. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, carried 3-0. Item F, 7F, resolution approving the contract with RDG for development of a concept plan for the courthouse parking lot. That's 7F.
Like some
And-
discussion.
Let's open for discussion.
I wanted to bring to my colleagues information that since the time, 2 weeks ago when we looked at this proposal, I have had citizens approach me about this topic and voice their concern about the expenditure of the $25,000 to put together a plan to look at improvements to the parking lot and a campus of some kind. So I just want you to be aware of that. They have indicated that, I'm going to be voting against this again, but they feel that it's not clearly explained as to what the need is, and that they would like me to vote no.
I had people contact me as well when I explained to them that I witnessed disabled veterans. There's 2 disabled parking stalls on the street. We had a pretty tough winter, and that there were days where it was impassable for them to get to the Veterans Administration, and that part of this was having disabled parking off the street, giving better access. I had citizens tell me that thank you for the explanation, and that they didn't have problem with the spending money to have a plan for that. No. I don't know if you had any contact, Supervisor Wickham?
Well, I have presented the opportunity and the idea to a few others and have generally received positive feedback. And you kind of normally get that with the group. People don't want to say, oh, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. They usually like, oh, I'd be interested in that. Public spaces and public buildings have costs. And, we have been incurring a lot of those costs, and I think to the investment of the community. This building, in my tenure, less than 4 years, we spent over $3 million preserving the courthouse. We improved our facilities on Cycle Road for a tune of, all in, it's going to be over $13 million. And those are investments that we make. And so I think this is a very small investment to be able to study, design, and see what the opportunities are. And I'm excited about it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Okay. Is there a second? I will second it. Motion made and seconded to approve the resolution approving the contract with RDG for the development of a concept plan for the courthouse parking lot. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Carried 2-1. All right. Next, 7G, resolution appointing deputies for FY20. And there's a list on the in the Dropbox listing the deputies. I don't think I need to read them all, but they are contained in the information that was sent out.
In the position of deputies, a state code component, right, that's identified.
This resolution is
Right. And this is separate and distinct from the salary one that we did last meeting.
You approved the salary resolution, and that included not just deputies, but management.
Right.
The salary resolution also includes management positions, essentially non-bargaining unit positions. This
Right.
just includes deputies.
Okay.
So then, therefore, the county attorney designating his deputies, that's been approved by each of these departments,
To the
or
elected
elected
officials,
officials, I guess.
Right.
Okay.
Its own deputies are only in the elected officials' offices.
And just for clarification or discussion, in many cases, the deputies' wages follow along on a percentage basis with the elected official. In this case, it's not necessarily so because we have people covered by bargaining units, I believe.
County attorneys.
That's right. And also I see a big number under the sheriff, they can't all be non-bargaining unit.
If you're, they are the patrol officers, the jailers, that is their part.
Right. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the resolution appointing deputies for FY20. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried. 3-0. 7H resolution, reappointing the commissioner to the Eastern Iowa Regional Housing Authority Board.
Oh, yeah.
Motion to approve the resolution appointing Commissioner James Flogel.
And I will second that.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded, reappointing the Commissioner Flogel to the Eastern Iowa Regional Housing Authority Board. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried 3-0. Item 7I, resolution approving contract with Delaware, Dubuque, and Jackson County Regional Transit Authority for transportation services to Sunnycrest Manor.
Motion to approve the resolution.
I will second that.
Okay. Motion made and seconded to approve the resolution approving the contract with Delaware, Dubuque, and Jackson County Regional Transit Authority for transportation services to Sunnycrest Manor. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried, 3-0. Item 7J, resolution approving the FY 20 appropriations resolution. And
Discussion.
okay, let's go right into questions.
I'm just not familiar with what this is.
Maybe Stella can.
Sure. So, we have to create the appropriations resolution to allow any of the departments to spend money. So we need to appropriate it before it can be spent. So this is the annual resolution, and we would do it along with any budget amendment too,
Okay.
to increase those amounts or decrease them, depending on what we were doing. So this one aligns with the FY 20 budget to allow spending authority to occur.
It's really just restating the budget in a different format.
Correct.
It is not only appropriating the total numbers, it is appropriating for each department what they can spend out of each fund.
Correct.
Okay,
Does this get published?
No, it doesn't, yeah. It's not like a public hearing or something, or a notice that would get published that way.
But it's another example of how we are transparent with, I mean, these are all budget numbers and motion to approve.
I will second that.
there was a motion made and seconded to approve the resolution approving FY 20 appropriations resolution. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. So 7K would be resolution approving FY 20 fund transfers.
This goes along the same kind of lines. These were transfers that were approved in the budget between our different funds. So this gives the authority to actually make those transfers.
Motion to approve?
I will second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the resolution approving FY 20 fund transfers. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. 7L, resolution approving the service agreement with Nyhart for actuarial services for the health insurance plan.
You want to explain it, or?
So
It's pretty
we have to
niche.
we do an annual actuarial valuation for the self-funding portion of our health insurance that is provided to our outside audit group. Nyhart is the company that does the actuarial assessment. We're in the off year, so it's a little bit less expensive in the off year and a little bit more expensive in the full year. So
Is it $3,300?
it is $3,300 total. There are two pieces of information that they're providing or determining that are then given to our auditors, outside auditors.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
motion made and seconded to approve the resolution approving the service agreement with Nyhart for actuarial services for the health insurance plan. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. 7M, resolution approving the necessary contract documents with Farner Asphalt Sealers LLC for furnishing and applying pavement marking paint for the Dubuque County Secondary Road Department. Refer to our county engineer, Anthony Bargett.
Yep, everything looks good. We've had experience with Farner in the past, and they do a great job with pavement markings. I'd recommend.
Was this your only bid?
Yes, we have one bid this year.
That concerning at all?
No, I'm surprised one of the bidder, Vogel, didn't bid. we've had a lot of services with them. But seeing the price that we got from Farner, it's well in line with what I've seen out there. But I am surprised that we didn't get at least a couple bids. But it just depends on how tied up they are with other contracts.
Motion to approve the resolution.
And I will second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded. This isn't something that Selco would be interested in doing?
Silco really, they don't get into larger contracts for paint.
Okay.
They do smaller stuff.
Okay,
And we've called them in the past to just stripe a bridge project or something like that, but generally they don't get into something like this.
okay.
Yep.
All right, all in favor of the resolution approving necessary contract documents with Farner Asphalt Sealers for furnishing and applying pavement marking paint for the Dubuque County Secondary Road Department signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. 7N, resolution approving an agreement with the city of Centralia for the Old Highway Speed Signs Project. We'll refer to Anthony Bargett on this.
Okay, this would be for the next round of RCTP funding that was approved, and Centralia was one of the small towns that was approved for basically flashing speed limit signs on each end of the town. So they applied for that and were awarded by the committee, and so now we're at the level of recommending and approving at the board level, so.
Okay, and the
You know
amount
any
is, oops, go
Do you know
ahead.
any details if they're the ones that just flash or the ones that say thank you and, in red and green?
I'm not totally sure what they're gonna go with, to be
All right.
honest. I don't know.
It'd be their decision, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
I actually like the ones that respond to you, that, it's red, and then if you slow down, eventually sometimes it says thank you, or just turns green.
I think, going into.
Asbury's got some.
Asbury's got one,
Asbury.
yeah.
Asbury's got that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Asbury's got them.
Yeah,
They seem nice, so if you talk to them, maybe the recommendation.
sure.
And they work.
Well, I think, it's a, kind of acknowledge for slowing down. All right, slow down.
And just FYI, the amount is $4,613 on that.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the resolution approving the agreement with the city of Centralia for the speed signs, Old Highway Speed Signs Project. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. Item 7O, resolution approving an agreement with the city of Sherrill for the speed limit flashing signs project. Again, I'm assuming same approval process, Anthony, if you wanna,
Yes.
Make
so
any
this would
comments?
be- Yeah, as well, in the next round here, this would be Sherrill was approved for 4 speed limit signs. They state that they're flashing signs. I think both Centralia and Sherrill are kind of looking for the same thing here, but they state they're a flashing sign here.
yep,
Motion to approve.
And I will second that.
okay. The amount on this one in discussion is $11,048. The motion's been made and seconded to approve the resolution. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. Item 7P, resolution approving the final progress voucher for the HMA resurfacing with milling project on Petersburg Road and New Vienna Road, project FM-C 03188-55-31.
Okay, so this is our New Vienna, Petersburg paving project from last year that we had to wait till this spring to finish some pavement markings on the project. And then we had to close out the liquidated, or the retainage with the contractor and get them to sign off on the final voucher. So now we're at the point of closing this out with the final voucher here.
Motion to approve.
Okay,
I will second that.
motion made and seconded to approve the final progress voucher for the HMA resurfacing with milling project on Petersburg Road, New Vienna Road, project FM-C 03188-55-31. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried, 3-0. 7Q, resolution approving the appointment of County Treasurer Eric Stearman as the Dubuque County NACO, or National Association of Counties delegate.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion to approve the resolution.
And I will second that.
It's been seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried. 7R, resolution approving the lease extension for the Nestler Center for the offices of the Department of Human Services.
I'd like a little discussion on this, if we could.
As would I.
So this is basically DHS, mainly that's over there, and I think it's suiting their purposes. I think the property is not one of the newer properties in Dubuque. I think the amenities they have over there are limited. The aesthetics are limited. I'm not really comfortable with an increase. I know they mentioned that in their proposal or their communication with us last year, that they wanted an increase. I believe we held it, and they stated, I think, Don might be able to fill us in, that they wanted an additional increase. So I know that's their desire. I just don't know if it has merit.
Was this something that they just sent to us, or did anybody sit down with them and discuss it
I
with
did
them?
not speak with them, but I asked Don to ask him for our lease for next year.
I sat down, I reached out to Bob Felderman, he is the kind of facilitator through it, so he just sent me the document. I also, last week, when I met with DHS, their administrator, she came into town. We think that there's some opportunity to maybe right-size the area. They do generally like the space, but they may have some extra space that when we approach the next lease, they've eliminated some positions, and we have space on 2 levels of the building, so we may be able to shrink our footprint, our rental, our lease space there this next time around. So we're gonna, through the budget, I proposed that Stella and I meet with them through the budget, and she was happy to do that, so.
This is just a 1-year extension?
Correct.
What would it normally be?
As far as I know, I think it's been 1-year extensions since I was gone.
Your extension?
But
There was a period of time where we had a longer lease, and then originally, when we were in negotiations with one of the buildings in the Millwork District, DHS was going to move there as part of that, and then when that fell through, we've just continued to be a year to year, just in case, we could find something where possibly they would be housed in a county facility or some,
So my comments that if our rentals are continuing to go up and escalate in cost, the board might want to look at finding other solutions. If they're close to static, I'm comfortable. And so, this per month is $13,231, so it's significant. I think our leases at some of the other properties have also continued to increase.
That was with the increase, right? Yeah.
It looks like it, yes. So, my comment would be to go back and negotiate same terms as last year. If we get that, I'm comfortable to move forward another year. And it sounds like, Dawn, you're interested in, or available to discuss that with them.
Okay.
And if we can downsize as well on the square foot.
I don't think DHS is ready for that,
Yeah, and I'm looking to put the developer, the building owner in a lose-lose where they, are getting a lower rate and less square feet. I think it serves our purpose today, and I think the cost is adequate.
And I want to point out in discussion, this is one of the unfunded mandates from the state of Iowa. What's that?
A portion of it, yep.
A portion of it, right. But we, even though they're not
We have to deal
our employees, we are responsible for providing housing, basically, for the DHS employees.
I will make a motion to table this resolution for further review and negotiation with the building owner.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to table the resolution in 7R regarding the lease extension for the Nestler Center. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. 7S, resolution approving the fire loan agreement with Holy Cross North Buena Vista Fire Department for $50,000 revolving loan. That would be an interest-free loan for 5 years, pay back $10,000 per year.
Make a motion to approve.
And I will second that.
Okay? Motion made and seconded to approve the fire loan agreement with Holy Cross North Buena Vista Fire Department for $50,000. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. Item 7T is a duplicate check, Dubuque365.com.
Motion to approve.
I will second that.
Okay? Motion made and seconded to approve the, is this a resolution?
No, it's just
Okay. All right. All right. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried. 3-0. 7U, resolution approving the collective bargaining agreement with the Dubuque County Sheriff's Association. And this is the FY 20 to 22 collective bargaining agreement, a 3-year agreement, is that correct? Do you want to summarize?
Yep,
Dawn?
Sheriff Kennedy and I went into negotiations with, the sheriff's deputies, so this is your larger of the bargaining units over there. Their wages are not tied to the sheriff, so we did, negotiate a 3% wage increase in each year of a 3-year contract. In each of those years, the employee's share of the health insurance, will also increase with that. We did, add Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday as a recognized holiday. And I anticipate we will be doing that for other bargaining units and bargaining as well. There were some other just smaller changes to it. We did change the pay structure for our dog handlers. It will go down in the future per employee to allow for the possibility of the sheriff adding additional canine with trying to control those costs, and so that was accepted by the union as well.
Okay.
I will make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the resolution in 7U, approving the collective bargaining agreement with the Dubuque County Sheriff's Deputy Association. Under discussion, has this been ratified by the rank and file?
Yes.
By the union? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. 7V, resolution approving substantial completion of juvenile courtroom project on second floor of the courthouse.
Motion to approve.
I will second that.
Okay. Motion made and seconded to approve the resolution approving substantial completion of the juvenile courtroom project on second floor of the courthouse. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, carried, 3-0. 7W, resolution approving the DARE quarterly claim.
Discussion.
Open for discussion.
This was the grant, now this is for the current year, but the DARE grant is the Board of Supervisors grant that was discussed in May when both Supervisor Wickham and I were working with various parties, looking at the supervisor's grant of $10,000 from the state of Iowa for substance abuse. I did ask Stella Rundy to pull the contract regarding this grant, and she did some investigation and determined that the DARE program through the Sheriff's Department has been applying for this grant for at least the past 8 years. And our Department of Health was unaware of that. I guess we should maybe say that quietly, because the grant application and contract says that the recipient is to be engaged with the Board of Health. In working toward this, it's supposed to be a public health grant given to supervisors to work on substance abuse. You know, our mental health dollars cannot be used for substance abuse treatment. So we thought it would be an opportunity, and I think Jay, you were as well, looking at maybe this being an opportunity to look at things a little differently. So I've asked Stella to flag this before it's automatically renewed and resubmitted in May at the very last minute, that we might want to have opportunity to have some discussion about this, the DARE program, and we will need to let the sheriff know that so they can rebudget it in their year. But this might be an opportunity for us to look at, you know, in theory, it could have paid for an opioid assessment plan, you know, a needs assessment. It has the ability to do other things than just be the DARE check every year. So.
Yeah, and I think that's a good idea to look at opportunities, and I wasn't aware, because it's always called the DARE program, that's where the funding source was, so that was helpful that I'm familiar with it. I've heard only good things about this program, so I would be an advocate for continuing the program, but we certainly could look at modifying, changing the funding sources.
I think this is a component of the DARE program, and it looks like
This grant
$1,142.81.
This grant is only for $10,000, and it needs to be matched 2 or 3 to 1, 3 to 1. So obviously the salary of the DARE officer and other things that are there go as part of the match to pull down the $10,000. This grant has been out there and has been used this way for probably closer to 20 to 25 years. And it was given over to the Sheriff's Department by the board. Previously, the accounting and the application for these reimbursements, et cetera, were done in my office. And it was probably 10 years ago or so that it was just decided that since the sheriff's office was getting the benefit of the grant, they would do the paperwork, et cetera.
At some point, we lost the trail of it being engaged with the Board of Health. So there might be opportunity to do things. I can't speak to that, but there's an opportunity here to maybe maximize a match doing other things that we can't do with our mental health dollars. So just wanted to make that note, and we can have that discussion when we get to the budget process. But this is for work that's already been performed, so we can get it approved by the state of Iowa. So I'll make a motion to approve that.
And I will second that.
Motion made and seconded to approve the resolution in 7W, approving the DARE quarterly claim, $1,142.81. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried 3-0. 7X. I think this is the first time we've ever gotten to letter X. Resolution approving the semi-annual DARE status report, 7X.
Motion to approve.
I will second that.
Motion made and seconded to approve the resolution in 7X, approving semi-annual DARE status report. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried 3-0. Communications under number 8 on the agenda. And I don't believe we have any. So we go to 9, which is our appointments. Under 9A1, the MHDD Stakeholder Committee, 1 vacancy for an unexpired term ending June 30, 2021. 2 vacancies for 3-year terms ending June 30th, 2022.
The first application from the stakeholders, I just wanted to draw it to the board's attention. Deb Lang She is not a resident of Dubuque County. She is a provider. She actually also serves on the advisory board to the mental health region. But I don't know if that concerns anyone. We still have a lot of openings on that stakeholders committee, and she brings a lot of experience. I don't know if that, how we feel about that. Is that ever an
I
issue?
noticed that the address listed looked familiar, so I looked it up, and it's Hillcrest Family Services.
Correct.
And it's supposed to be the home address, I believe, so I don't know what our rules are for appointing folks to our Dubuque County committees. Would assume they would need to be a Dubuque County resident, but I don't know that, so if we don't know that, I would probably ask that we table this.
Motion to table the application of Deb Lang to the stakeholders committee.
I will second that, and maybe we can have a discussion whether, see if the county attorney could give us that opinion.
Motion made and seconded, and we're open for discussion.
Yeah, I think if that's a good question, and I think it hopefully would be found in the Iowa code somewhere. And so, you want me to ask him, since we're wondering, as far as our boards and commissions and appointees, what are our power? Do they have to be citizens, a certain age, over 18? They have to be in Dubuque County? Is it universal across all boards, or is the code, allow conservation to be different than health, different than other areas?
I think you can set it whatever way you want, as long as it's obviously non-discriminatory, of course, right? That would be the baseline on anything, but I think you can set the number of gender by, you have to have so many males and females, things of that nature. I think you can also, as far as the qualifications, I think you can set those. I mean, I don't know if there's something in particular in any one of those boards that you feel that somebody would need a certain background coming into it. You can do that reasonably so. But if you want me to use, I can probably.
Well, I have one more question, though, since you mentioned it. This might send you back to Iowa code. Can we remove some from an active appointment?
I think there's, yes.
I'm
you
not
can.
proposing that at all. just wondering
Just
what our
generally speaking.
powers are and authorities are.
I think is there a county policy about that currently? No.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it might be, kind of a, yeah.
I think
So
we're
I-
always
I
just so
can-
happy to have an app.
As I say, yeah. Thank goodness it's never come up, right? I mean, I can work with Dawn on that question.
Yeah,
those
the
meeting
reason I
questions.
ask is just we're trying to, as much as we can, encourage engagement, and I'm very, very pleased and very grateful for people that volunteer in these different committees, but we do see the same people that are on the committees. They must like it, they re-up, and re-up,
They're there for a
and
while.
I would like to make sure that the public has the knowledge and awareness of the openings for these. Maybe we can do a better job on that.
Sure.
I do want to point out that you do have another one, Carrie Merrick, that has that same address.
And she lives in Dubuque County,
She
though, I
does,
believe,
okay.
yeah.
I
But she
can only
also
reach her.
works for Hillcrest.
I have a note here, Carrie Merrick, home address with a question mark, so they put
Oh,
the
you know what?
business address, and so I have the same question for her, so if we have a doubt, I would say that we should table this as well.
They are applying as a provider.
We have the rules with us here tonight? In,
It doesn't say. There are categories.
Consumer family, we're hoping to get.
I mean, just as an example, on the next one, Margie Woywood, lists the home address. So by omitting that, you know, I don't know if that was done intentionally or not, but, she appears to have a Dubuque County address and then lists her work address,
On a
and
motion.
which I think is appropriate. I think we're lacking the information here.
I think we should move to table Carrie Merrick as well.
Okay.
That
I don't
application
think we've
to
taken any action yet, so we're proposing to table, Deb Lang and Carrie Merrick. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have an application for a provider for Margie Woywood,
Right.
and listing a Dubuque County address for home address.
I'm delighted to have her application. She works with folks with intellectual disability. So it's, that committee is broader than simply mental health issues. So I would make a motion to approve Margie's application.
And I will second that.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the application of Margie Woywood. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's approved 3-0. Okay. We have the eminent domain compensation commission. 17 vacancies for one-year terms expiring June 30th, 2020. 6 farmers, owners, operators, 3 city property owners, 4 licensed real estate salespersons or brokers, 4 bankers, auctioneers, appraisers, property managers. So, Dawn, is this something that you've been handling?
Yes, my staff has. This is one that you do have to approve every year. So Tracy just sends a letter out to them asking if they would like to be appointed. And so those are the ones that you have in front of you. We do have quite a shortage on this, and we had last year been contacted by the state.
Did they have to meet in the end or not?
Yes,
They did meet, okay, all right, okay.
So where are we? Do you know what the breakdown is right now, what we have shortages of?
I know we need one from all the categories. I can get you that, though. I'd have to see it after she's updated with these.
Is it okay if I go through and read them and the names and then we take one? Okay, first one is Corey Fobb. And yes, yes, I will continue to be listed as a member. The next would be Dan Arnsdorf. Again, yes. And I guess I should say, these are farmer owners and operators. So Dan Arnsdorf was yes. Next is James Willenbrang as a farmer owner operator, also indicating yes, that he would continue. The next is another farmer owner operator, Steve Sezik, and Steve indicates yes, he would continue. Next is, and this is a farmer owner operator, Wilfred Steffensmeyer, indicates yes, he would continue. The next one is Loris Link, a farmer owner operator, also indicates yes, as to continue being as listed as a member. And then we have, this is a different category. This is owner of city property, indicating it's Rogine Faulkner Wright, indicates yes for continuation. And then we have another owner, city property, Walter Pregler, indicates yes, he would continue. And then we have another owner of city property, Melvin Wilgenbush, indicates yes, he would continue to be listed as a member. And we have, for licensed real estate salespersons or brokers, Angela Mosina indicates yes to continue. And then under licensed real estate salespersons or brokers, Carol Rudin indicates that she would be willing to continue. Then we have Jane O'Neill, licensed real estate salesperson or broker, yes, indicates yes, she would continue. And then we have licensed real estate salesperson or broker Terry Duggan, indicates yes, he would continue. We have under bankers, auctioneers, appraisers, or property managers, Gary Yeager indicates yes, he would continue. And then we have under bankers, auctioneers, appraisers, and property managers, Brian Daly indicates yes, he would continue. We have under bankers, auctioneers, appraisers, and property managers, Patrick Hogreef indicates yes for continuation. And again, under bankers, auctioneers, appraisers, and property managers, Sherry Horsfield indicates that yes, she would continue to be a member. Then I guess that's the end of that. So I guess a motion to approve those reappointments or reappoint those applicants
For the eminent domain.
for the
I will make that motion
eminent
to
domain
approve.
compensation commission.
Second.
Motion made and seconded for reappointment. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carried 3-0. Next, we have for the Library District Board of Trustees, one vacancy, 6-year term ending June 30th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve the application of Pauline Joyce, continue as a Dubuque County Library trustee.
Okay,
I will second that with just some discussion.
okay. Motion made and seconded, open for discussion.
And so it looks like she served a partial term or somebody else came in 2018, is that right? Okay, just wanted to make sure I read that right. Okay, thank you. That's all I was looking for.
All right, motion's been made and seconded for reappointment of Pauline Joyce to the Library District Board of Trustees. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. Okay, Veterans Affairs Commission, one vacancy for a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2022. And this is the application of Sharon Trenholm,
How long is the term on these?
3 years.
3 years.
3? Looks like Sharon's been on here for 15 years, she was mentioning.
Yep.
Do you know if we had any other applicants, or was this the only one?
We would send all the applicants. You normally have to.
Yeah,
Part of the job of the board is to recruit members to boards.
okay.
I think I just met her Saturday down at the Veterans Luncheon. She was very delighted to be there, active volunteering.
Yep.
Yeah, as far as the other question we wanted to do what the auditor mentioned as far as just engaging the public in this opportunity. It's a small board. It's very niche, it's very emotional for many people, and it's an area I would be very interested in advocating for. Sharon's done, I think, a tremendous job in my 3.5 years. We haven't had a lot of interactions, but those that we've had have been positive.
believe there's 3 board members, Ray Owensby and Tom Parsley.
Yeah, these are how long, 6-year terms, or 3-year terms? 3-year terms.
Yeah. Well, I would make a motion to approve the reappointment of Sharon Trenholm to the Veterans Affairs Commission.
Second.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Carried 3-0. Okay. Next up is the zoning, zoning commission. 2 vacancies for 4-year terms ending July 1, 2023. The first is Catherine Reese Caitlin. And she is currently on the board. And the other is Samantha Boyce, who also is on the board, on the zoning board.
What's the tenure of this? How long are these positions?
4 years.
We have a
This is
third
for the,
applicant.
this is for the zoning commission. And we do have one coming up for the zoning board of adjustment, which is separate.
Yeah, so zoning board, so, looks like, this Caitlin's been on there for 1 term, she said. And Samantha, anyone know how long that term has been? I'm looking through the currently served. How long she served?
What's your pleasure?
Well, it seems awkward to not just continue to reappoint. But it is something I think that I would propose we have some kind of thoughtful discussion about. Timing would be as we get our new website up, we're hoping to update all of the listings and highlight, how you get an application, just to really freshen how you can get on a board, what we need you to be on. So there's some timing of that, but that's at least my hope, that'll be a big piece of our website redesign starting in our next year. But I'm concerned that, these are coming to us at the last minute, it seems. So without a chance to really look at them, and then they're before us for reappointment, not suggesting that these are not all wonderful applicants, but I don't know if we want to look at that in terms of engagement of the community. How do we do that? Is there someone in our offices that should be working on that as a job skill?
Yeah, I would support that. I mean, I think that's, I'll say I haven't probably done a good enough job to go out and promote our boards and commissions, and so having some additional resources and help to do that. But it is a delicate balance. So you've got people that have volunteered for years, and in the last case of our Veterans Fair, 15 years, and they're like, I want another 3. And obviously, if they're the only candidate, that's pretty easy. But I don't know how much of the public was aware that those openings were, and so zoning board would be the same thing. That's a little more skilled as far as niches related to zoning. So most people have to learn about that. It's not something they just carry along with them. But I'd be open to having a little more time. I don't know if there's any critical components related to zoning that we have to solve right now.
I don't want it to be perceived as a slight. Catherine Caitlin in particular was on our ATV committee, citizen committee, and so again, not to be singling anyone out, to be treated differently, I would be sensitive to that.
Yeah, I'm sensitive too, and I've caught some flack. Former supervisor wasn't real happy when I said I wanted a few other people to have a chance to be on boards.
So I get that.
I also don't know
Well-
if the chairs or our staff, like Tammy perhaps, indicate to people that their term is up and you need to reapply. I know I have heard that in other areas where encouraging people to reapply is, keeping those committees full, or what we charge our staff to do, especially for essential services like zoning.
Right.
It's a big job.
If I may, we have a hard time, we do try to recruit, we tell, clients that come in, we say, listen, there's positioning coming up, spread the word, so we do our best with that. And you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, Dawn, but if we don't appoint these in July, they cannot serve. And if they can't serve, we're gonna be short members.
Right, here's a concern.
I mean, that would be
Right.
the only concern I would have.
Do we timestamp these or date stamp them when we get them? Because Catherine Caitlin filled hers out on May 29th and Samantha Boyce on May 20th. So Samantha Boyce was 5 weeks ago, and it's coming to us at the last possible moment. This could have been on a previous agenda. But that's not their fault if they turned it in a timely manner.
That's our regular practice when the term expires. If it's an open vacancy for an unexpired term, we bring that to you right away. But since these terms are due and they're due, the practice like we just bring it to you at that time.
Okay.
We can change that. if we want to.
And I also will point out, there's 2 openings, and we have 2 applications. And they're incumbents. So I'm inclined to approve both of them. I, may not have been in agreement with Ms. Caitlin on one issue. I think she does a fine job. She's a good citizen, and she serves the county on the zoning commission, so I would advocate for her to continue because she applied and others haven't. Now, if we have an overall issue of we want to recruit more people to apply, I think we should move in that direction, but not hold up people who have applied under the rules and, so I think big picture, I don't disagree that having, reaching out and encouraging people to be involved is a good thing. But we have 2 specific applications here that I support, so.
Yeah, and I think they're both good people, but
Yeah.
I mean, the lay of the land of boards is staff and directors and elected officials want boards that they know
Yep.
and are comfortable with and familiar with and generally agree with them. And that's constant, and so we see that, so God bless Jackie Ray, she was just appointed for the 9th time or whatever at Greater Dubuque, and, she's the Economic Development Director in Dyersville, she, and on, and we have those same types of things. I would encourage the board, and I'll need to, step up, to look for opportunities for change, and look for opportunities for new ideas. Sometimes that's uncomfortable for directors and uncomfortable for elected officials, but I think it can hopefully improve the process.
For the zoning positions, I have a new appreciation after attending the training at the Julian, but how you really do need to have training and know how you're working together as a group. When's a quorum, what's your role, where you're gonna get the county in a litigation situation. So each of these committees acts differently as well, each of the commissions. So it would be good to have that as part of a long-term discussion about the boards and commissions. I'll make a motion to approve the zoning commission applications of Ms. Caitlin and Ms. Boyes as presented.
Okay, is there a second? I will second. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor of the reappointments of Ms. Caitlin and Ms. Boyce signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried 3-0. We go to the Zoning Board of Adjustment, one vacancy for a 5-year term ending June 30th, 2024. We have application of Michelle Schweitzer from Cheryl.
Is that a vacancy, Tammy, then?
Yeah, Darlene's vacancy is up. There wouldn't be anybody to replace her by July if it's not approved. She cannot serve anymore, and she has been, Darlene Birds was on that for, I'm gonna say 15+ years, and she is no longer going to do that. And then we have a couple of other Board of Adjustment members that are aging and looking at maybe eventually not going on again as well. So, but this is the open position for Darlene Birds, would be replacing Darlene Birds.
Michelle Switzer would be new to this position.
Yes, she would be new to this board.
That's great. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to approve the application of Michelle Schweitzer to the Zoning Board of Adjustment. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried 3-0. Next, we have the application for the Fire Department Loan Fund Committee, one vacancy for a 4-year term ending June 30th, 2023. And I'm having a hard time reading this, but Deanna Plessel. The copy's real dark on my copy here. Deanna Plessel, for the Fire Department Loan Fund Committee, one vacancy, 4-year term ending June 30th, 2023.
Do you know if this is a new position? Third or fourth? Excellent volunteer.
I wonder if this is one where we have to have a male or a female too. Right, so that's just another complication I know on the fire board. We get to Tom Hancock. That should be incoming applications before us soon here.
References included Jack Tyson and Dave Freiberger, legendary volunteer firefighters from.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion made and seconded to approve the application of Deanna Plessel. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. All right, we have 9B, open vacancies on boards and commissions for informational purposes only.
Could I have a moment? Just draw everyone's attention, please, to the Equal Opportunity Committee. 6 men, 6 women, 12 vacancies, 3-year terms, totally vacant committee. Maybe never has had anyone seated on it. Just wanted,
It's been decades ago, I think. The 80s or something.
when did you find on there was last someone?
I'd have to go back and look. I know I've seen minutes from like late 80s maybe, but it was just in passing with other documents.
It's vacant on our website. Is this if there's no one there?
There is no one appointed to it.
I'd just like to say that, we just approved the sheriff deputy contract, adding Martin Luther King Day as a holiday. And there's going to be a race conference, Race in the Heartland conference coming up. It's going to be a regional, local conference in October. And I just want to say that, we might want to use this committee for a purpose of inclusivity. Looking at it as a committee that could bring voices. And so again, I guess to the issue of what are the purposes of the committees, what could we do? And that is one that's on my goal of trying to look at and maybe look at differently in a new perspective. So,
I guess I would just wonder, is the Equal Opportunity Committee, is it put together based on complaints? Okay, I guess, if, I just would wanna make sure that Equal Opportunity Committee and Inclusivity Committee would be one and the same. If this were to serve a different function, like a investigatory type thing, to me, that would be different then. So I guess, I hate to throw things at our, wonderful barrister, but, if we could maybe just take a peek at that and,
when I did some looking into this, the concept of an equal opportunity committee, I don't find that to be a modern, I mean, it's from the 80s, so maybe we look at what is the mission, and I don't know what it is. You found some minutes, that's a step forward. So, but just looking at, maybe it is an opportunity or an avenue to be something that we also need.
I think
Yeah,
that,
I'm totally ignorant on it, so I'd be
Yeah.
happy to be enlightened, and I'll do a little research myself.
okay,
Thank you.
all right. Anything else under 9B? We'll go to item number 10 on the agenda, which would be personnel requisitions, permanent part-time, 10A, permanent part-time medical examiner, investigator for the county attorney's office. So I guess Dawn and CJ?
You approved this through the budget. This is adding an additional on-call employee. So the only cost increase is the one-time training course that they have to take. They still have the same number of on-call hours. They're just dividing it up between the more employees.
I remember the discussion.
I'll make a motion to approve the personnel requisition
Second.
And that's 10A.
for the medical examiner.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried 3-0. Next up is 10B, permanent full-time maintenance worker 1 in the secondary roads department. Anthony?
Yeah, this would be a retirement of Rick Duran out of our Farley shop. So he submitted his letter, and so now we're going out for the posting.
Okay. All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the personnel requisition for maintenance worker number 1.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the personnel requisition, permanent full-time maintenance worker 1, secondary roads department. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried 3-0. Okay. Item 11, tabled and pending items. We don't have anything on this agenda, but we do have that other work session, which I assume we'll reschedule, the 2 o'clock work session, right? We didn't get to that. So we'll reschedule that for next meeting. That was the-
Get him in here.
That was the AV, courtroom AV project. Okay. All right, and then
Judges.
item number 12 on the agenda, public comments. At this time, anyone may address the board on matters which are of concern to that person, which are not agenda items. Please go to the podium, state your name and home address. Please be aware that the board is limited in their ability to respond to such inquiries, and Iowa Code prohibits the board from deliberating or acting on items not appearing on the agenda. Okay, I then would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried 3-0. And 7:22 PM.
How are we doing for claims?
I signed everything I could sign.
Thank you, Jay. I'm working my way through the list. Right.